women make up 67% of the workforce and 67% of college students. And I remember one of the women were saying, well, look, I mean, it's not really a matter of we don't want to serve our men. It's not that we don't want to have a home cooked meal ready for them. It's just that we don't have time. And my stance on this, Rollo, is that you have to make a choice. And I think that and women are there. Maybe there are some that are just now starting to figure it out, but they don't seem to understand quite yet that you can't have it both ways. If you want to be a career woman, listen, I'm all for it. We live in America, but you have to understand you have to pay the price, and the price of and here's something else that I'd like to submit to you. The more success, the more money, the more power, the more influence, the more status a woman attains, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors. And that's what a lot of these black women are going through. They think that they think that the more status and power and money they get, the more options they have. But because of the way the female mind works, they want to date up, they want to fuck up, they want to marry up. They don't realize they're sabotaging themselves.
Yeah, and that's the way hypergamy works.
Right.
Okay? Hypergamy never seeks its own level. It always seeks at or above. And if it's at, it's looking for something that is above. It will settle for at, but it wants a better than deserved deal, because I mean, really, why wouldn't you? I mean, that's how you're going to optimize, alpha fucks and beta bucks. That's how you're going to work that way. I'm glad we talked about this, because one of the reasons I brought this up with you afterwards, after last Red Man group, is because we had that call from that one woman who called in, and she was
woman from Florida,
and and I thought that was a really good call.
I did too. She seemed genuine.
She believes that all men want, or all men really care about, is looks, and all they care about is just the sexual aspect and nothing more. And from a very visceral standpoint, I have to agree with her. Yes, because that's where it starts.
Yes,
that's where it is. But what comes after that? Where's the value? Where's the value added once we've got past the sexual side of things? Right now, that's nowhere, because women, like you were just saying, they've gone and and more power to them. They're going off to college. They're going and earning degrees. They're going out and through whatever social mechanism, they're going into the workforce. They're more out. I mean, they're not as represented as men in the workforce just yet, but they're becoming more and more. And they're certainly overrepresented in academia right now.
Oh, yeah.
So when you look at that, and just like we were talking about before, we see a woman who, especially in this documentary, they want some guy who is at or above what they believe is their sexual market value. And just like I was telling that woman on Red Man Group last Saturday, the problem with that is that these women, including the ones in the documentary, cannot separate their sexual market value from whatever it is that they perceive as their personal worth. They believe that if they make themselves more like a man, if they masculize themselves more, if they achieve the same things as a man, if they freeze their eggs and decide that they're going to put their career before everything else. Now, honestly, I think that's kind of a load of shit. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a minute. But they decide that let's just say, for instance, that is a genuine concern of them. They want to go and do all that, and they want to basically live the same lifestyle that they think, or they see sort of these apex men living, and they want to have it all, just like you were saying. They think that later on they'll be able to have kids, which is another big lie.
Yep.
They think that they're going to meet Mr. Right at some point, and their whole lives are going to just perfectly coalesce. By the time they're 40, they'll have achieved something in a career, and they're having their kids, and they're moving on with their lives and that kind of stuff. And they think that they can have it all. The problem is that in the course of trying to have it all, there's a lot of consequences and a lot of liabilities that come along with that. And one of those is that the more a woman makes herself more masculine, the more she tries to do that, the less she is able to really apply herself to being insightful, or to actually even want to create something in herself or improve herself, so that she has some value added beyond just what the sexual is. So I see a lot of women complaining today that men just sexually objectify them, right? They just want to have sex, right? That's all they care about. But the thing is that women make themselves sexual commodities because there's nothing else that they have of value beyond that. Because they're encouraged not to develop anything beyond that. Because why? They're told not to do anything expressly for the pleasure of a man.
Man, oh
so
man.
That's I see that as now when you pick when you take that principle and you move on with it into the Black community with these women that we're looking at in the documentary, that turns into entitlement.
Yes.
Because they believe that if they've achieved all this stuff, they are entitled to having it all. They think that I've got my degree.
Yep.
I started my own business. I think I'm an entrepreneur. Maybe I'm in middle management now. I have achieved what the feminists, dream of, sort of some sort of male equivalency, if not equality. I am now living the male dream. Now I want to have the female dream as well. Well, you can't have that.
No.
Because what it took to get you to the male dream is conflicts.
Yes, you sacrifice a lot of that femininity along the way. Like, in order to move up the corporate ladder, in order to be successful, you have to exhibit masculine qualities. And at some point along the way, you lose some of that femininity permanently because you've been acting like a man for so long, your brain just kind of forgets the muscle memory.
One other thing I wanted to also, and this is, I kind of had ulterior motives when I asked you if you wanted to talk about this on your show. Simply because I'm writing a post right now. It'll probably come out either tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, yeah, I'll put it on my blog.
What triggered it was I won't name names, but I was having a conversation about alpha females. What I call the myth of alpha females.
Right, of course.
How it's like, well, there's an alpha female and she's in charge and she, knows what she wants and she's basically the strong, independent woman. Well, that trope or that stereotype or that archetype of the strong, independent woman doesn't need anything else.
Right.
She is self-contained. Like I said, she's this autonomous thing, but yet she still wants to have a man. She still wants to have a family. She still wants to, and then wonders why she cannot have that. And so I was talking about why I believe that the alpha female, the idea of an alpha female, is a complete fantasy of feminism. It's a complete fantasy of women who are just like the ones that are in this documentary. Because if you were to ask them, "Are you an alpha female?" They go, "Hell yeah, I'm an alpha female," and that they would go off and get sassy and get and they hate this term. Bossy,
yes,
bitchy, right?
Yes.
And they get upset when a man calls them bossy or bitchy when it's in a work-related context. Well, the fact of the matter is you are acting like a boss and you are acting like a bitch.
That's right.
Because that's what it takes. That now you understand what men have to go through
to get
to the achievements that they have. And so they want to say, I'm an alpha female because I'm more like a man. I'm more like a successful alpha male. I'm more like, because I've built my life up around all of the ideals that would make for an attractive man. A guy who has status, he's got money, he's got social proof, he's got all this great stuff going for him. He's got this education that they think that they are entitled to. She's got all that. So why would she need anything else, right?
Right.
And really, that's why I say it's a myth, because from a Darwinistic look, a woman who is a perfect, beautiful, swimsuit model, has a physique like that and has that sexuality and has that femininity, that is an alpha female. It's not somebody who looks like Sheryl Sandberg or who is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That is not an alpha female.
No, it is absolutely
an alpha
not.
Female is a woman who men put at the top of the female dominance hierarchy rather than the male dominance hierarchy. So if you are a woman and you're listening to this and you think you are an alpha female because you have all of this fantastic achievement and you've got your degrees and everything else, I'm going to tell you right now, you are only that way because you look at alphaness from a male perspective and in a male lens. So if you were really an alpha female, you would be in a much better shape. I would say most strippers are probably more alpha female than any CEO, than any Fortune 500 CEO.
Absolutely.
And the reason for that is because they're looking, and they've been taught this. They've been taught to think of success through a male paradigm, or through a male lens. And what would make a man attractive? Well, a man who's good looking, a man who keeps himself in shape, a guy who has he's got ambition, he's got drive, he's got status, he's got social proof. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I think that women believe that if they can get that will make them more attractive.
There you go.
And the problem is it doesn't. It makes you more like a guy. And guys, heterosexual men don't want to get with other guys.
There you go.
They want to get with a woman. Likes do not attract.
That's right.
Opposites attract.
You are